folks are usually about as happy as they make their minds up to be. Whatever you are, be a good one. I am a slow walker, but I never walk back. Those who deny freedom to others, deserve it not for themselves. We can complain because rose bushes have thorns, or rejoice because thorns have roses. Whenever I hear anyone arguing for slavery, I feel a strong impulse to see it tried on him personally. Always bear in mind that your own resolution to succeed is more important than any one thing. Character is like a tree and reputation its shadow. The shadow is what we think it is and the tree is the real thing. No man is poor who has a godly mother. The best way to predict your future is to create it. I have been driven many times upon my knees by the overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go. My own wisdom and that of all about me seemed insufficient for that day. All that I am or ever hope to be, I owe to my angel mother. Do I not destroy my enemies when I make them my friends? America will never be destroyed from the outside. If we falter and lose our freedoms, it will be because we destroyed ourselves. My best friend is a person who will give me a book I have not read. My concern is not whether God is on our side, my greatest concern is to be on God's side, for God is always right. I'm a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down. I have always found that mercy bears richer fruits than strict justice. No man has a good enough memory to be a successful liar. If you once forfeit the confidence of your fellow citizens, you can never regain their respect and esteem. It is true that you may fool all of the people some of the time, you can even fool some of the people all of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time. Speech at Clinton, Illinois, September 8, 1854. I am not concerned that you have fallen, I am concerned that you arise. The probability that we may fail in the struggle ought not to deter us from the support of a cause we believe to be just. To ease another's heartache is to forget one's own. The better part of one's life consists of his friendships. Be with a leader when he is right, stay with him when he is still right, but leave him when he is wrong. 7 years ago our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. When I get ready to talk to people, I spend 2/3 of the time thinking what they want to hear and 1/3 thinking about what I want to say. I don't know who my grandfather was, I am much more concerned to know what his grandson will be. A house divided against itself cannot stand. I believe this government cannot endure, permanently half slave and half free. I do not expect the Union to be dissolved, I do not expect the house to fall, but I do expect it will cease to be divided. It will become all one thing or all the other. It is difficult to make a man miserable while he feels worthy of himself and claims kindred to the great God who made him. I am a firm believer in the people. If given the truth, they can be depended upon to meet any national crisis. The great point is to bring them the real facts, and beer. If this is coffee, please bring me some tea, but if this is tea, please bring me some coffee. You cannot help people permanently by doing for them what they could and should do for themselves. You can tell the greatness of a man by what makes him angry. It has been my experience that folks who have no vices have very few virtues. You have to do your own growing no matter how tall your grandfather was. The Lord prefers common-looking people. That is why He made so many of them. In this sad world of ours, sorrow comes to all, and, to the young, it comes with bitterest agony, because it takes them unawares. The older have learned to ever expect it. I am anxious to afford some alleviation of your present distress. Perfect relief is not possible, except with time. You cannot now realize that you will ever feel better. Is not this so? And yet it is a mistake. You are sure to be happy again. To know this, which is certainly true, will make you some less miserable now. I have had experience enough to know what I say, and you need only to believe it, to feel better at once. It's not me who can't keep a secret. It's the people I tell that can't. I do not think much of a man who is not wiser today than he was yesterday. Get books, sit yourself down anywhere, and go to reading them yourself. Don't criticize them, they are just what we would be under similar circumstances. Die when I may, I want it said of me by those who knew me best, that I always plucked a thistle and planted a flower where I thought a flower would grow. If this country is ever demoralized, it will come from trying to live without work. Stand with anyone that is right, stand with him while he is right and part with him when he goes wrong. Those who deny freedom to others deserve it not for themselves, and, under a just God, cannot retain it. You cannot build character and courage by taking away people's initiative and independence. Honor to the soldier and sailor everywhere, who bravely bears his country's cause. Honor, also, to the citizen who cares for his brother in the field and serves, as he best can, the same cause. You can have anything you want if you want it badly enough. You can be anything you want to be, do anything you set out to accomplish if you hold to that desire with singleness of purpose. I have come to the conclusion never again to think of marrying, and for this reason, I can never be satisfied with anyone who would be blockhead enough to have me. I know there is a God, and that He hates injustice and slavery. I see the storm coming, and I know that His hand is in it. If He has a place and work for me, and I think He has, I believe I am ready. Don't worry when you are not recognized, but strive to be worthy of recognition. It often requires more courage to dare to do right than to fear to do wrong. The philosophy of the schoolroom in one generation is the philosophy of government in the next. You cannot have the right to do what is wrong. If any man tells you he loves America, yet hates labor, he is a liar. If any man tells you he trusts America, yet fears labor, he is a fool. Women are the only people I am afraid of who I never thought would hurt me. No man is good enough to govern another man without that other's consent. I don't like to hear cut and dried sermons. No, when I hear a man preach, I like to see him act as if he were fighting bees. And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. A friend is one who has the same enemies as you have. Anybody will do for you, but not for me. I must have somebody. I have been driven many times to my knees by the overwhelming conviction that I had nowhere else to go. I like to see a man proud of the place in which he lives. I like to see a man live so that his place will be proud of him. Education does not mean teaching people what they do not know. It means teaching them to behave as they do not behave. 'Tis better people think you a fool, than open your mouth and erase all doubt. I remember my mother's prayers, and they have always followed me. They have clung to me all my life. I do the very best I can. I mean to keep going. If the end brings me out all right, then what is said against me won't matter. If I'm wrong, 10 angels swearing I was right won't make a difference. Gentlemen, why do you not laugh? With the fearful strain that is upon me day and night, if I did not laugh, I should die. It will not do to investigate the subject of religion too closely, as it is apt to lead to infidelity. I am rather inclined to silence, and whether that be wise or not, it is at least more unusual nowadays to find a man who can hold his tongue than to find one who cannot. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. I am a success today because I had a friend who believed in me and I didn't have the heart to let him down. I never had a policy, I have just tried to do my very best each and every day. Well, I wish some of you would tell me the brand of whiskey that Grant drinks. I would like to send a barrel of it to my other generals. If you want your name to be remembered after your death, either do something worth writing or write something worth reading. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live by the light that I have. I must stand with anybody that stands right, and stand with him while he is right, and part with him when he goes wrong. I am slow to learn and slow to forget that which I have learned. My mind is like a piece of steel, very hard to scratch anything on it and almost impossible after you get it there to rub it out. What is to be, will be, and no prayers of ours can arrest the decree. A farce or comedy is best played, a tragedy is best read at home. To sin by silence when they should protest, makes cowards of men. If I am killed, I can die but once, but to live in constant dread of it, is to die over and over again. I was a little crossed out, I ask pardon. If I do get up a little temper, I have no sufficient time to keep it up. Don't interfere with anything in the Constitution. That must be maintained, for it is the only safeguard of our liberties. Let us have faith that right makes might, and in that faith let us, to the end, dare to do our duty as we understand it. Republicans are for both the man and the dollar, but in case of conflict the man before the dollar. My father taught me to work, he did not teach me to love it. Commitment is what transforms a promise into reality. Determine that the thing can and shall be done, and then find the way. Those who write clearly have readers, those who write obscurely have commentators. Hypocrite, the man who murdered his parents, and then pleaded for mercy on the grounds that he was an orphan. My great concern is not whether you have failed, but whether you are content with your failure. Books serve to show a man that those original thoughts of his aren't very new after all. There are no bad pictures, that's just how your face looks sometimes. When I do good, I feel good. When I do bad, I feel bad. That's my religion. I can see how it might be possible for a man to look down upon the earth and be an atheist, but I cannot conceive how a man could look up into the heavens and say there is no God. Those who look for the bad in people will surely find it. I don't like that man. I must get to know him better. I am not bound to win, but I am bound to be true. I am not bound to succeed, but I am bound to live up to what light I have. When you reach the end of your rope, tie a knot and hang on. I laugh because I must not cry, that is all, that is all. Tact, the ability to describe others as they see themselves. Give me 6 hours to chop down a tree and I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. Elections belong to the people. It's their decision. If they decide to turn their back on the fire and burn their behinds, then they will just have to sit on their blisters. I will prepare and someday my chance will come. As I would not be a slave, so I would not be a master. This expresses my idea of democracy. The greatest fine art of the future will be the making of a comfortable living from a small piece of land. If there is anything that links the human to the divine, it is the courage to stand by a principle when everybody else rejects it. We should be too big to take offense and too noble to give it. You can't make a weak man strong by making a strong man weak. In times like the present, men should utter nothing for which they would not willingly be responsible through time and eternity. That some achieve great success, is proof to all that others can achieve it as well. Force is all-conquering, but its victories are short-lived. You cannot lift the wage earner up by pulling the wage payer down. If I were two-faced, would I be wearing this one? I would rather be a little nobody, than to be a evil somebody. Be sure you put your feet in the right place, then stand firm. I care not for a man's religion whose dog and cat are not the better for it. Things may come to those who wait, but only the things left by those who hustle. The best thing about the future is that it comes one day at a time. Every man's happiness is his own responsibility. I do the very best I know how, the very best I can, and I mean to keep on doing so until the end. The Bible is not my book nor Christianity my profession. I could never give assent to the long, complicated statements of Christian dogma. We are not enemies, but friends. We must not be enemies. Though passion may have strained, it must not break our bonds of affection. The mystic chords of memory will swell when again touched, as surely they will be, by the better angels of our nature. You can fool some of the people all of the time, and all of the people some of the time, but you cannot fool all of the people all of the time. My father taught me to work, but not to love it. I never did like to work, and I don't deny it. I'd rather read, tell stories, crack jokes, talk, laugh, anything but work. You cannot escape the responsibility of tomorrow by evading it today. All I have learned, I learned from books. The best way to get a bad law repealed is to enforce it strictly. I am very little inclined on any occasion to say anything unless I hope to produce some good by it. I believe that people should fight for what they believe and only what they believe. I will study and prepare myself, and someday my chance will come. Believing everyone is dangerous, but believing nobody is more dangerous. If slavery is not wrong, nothing is wrong. Never do anything for anyone who can just as well do it themselves. Truth is generally the best vindication against slander. People who have no vices, have very few virtues. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right. Love is the chain whereby to lock a child to its parent. I am nothing, truth is everything. No matter how much the cats fight, there always seem to be plenty of kittens. If friendship is your weakest point, then you are the strongest person in the world. The ballot is stronger than the bullet. A woman is the only thing I am afraid of that I know will not hurt me. A tendency to melancholy, let it be observed, is a misfortune, not a fault. Life is hard but so very beautiful. Nothing will divert me from my purpose. Achievement has no color. A house divided cannot stand. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.